what you do, especially now that you were like super huge into improv, that, speaking of using your creativity, so you have a special. It's like I said, it's on Amazon. You can rent it on YouTube. It's on iTunes as well. It's called Rick Overton's Set List Live, right? And it's totally 100%.
Set List Special. Rick Overton's Set List Special, and it's based on a game called Set List, where they project your topics behind you on a screen. You don't know your act. This isn't your set list. It's theirs, and you haven't seen it yet. So when you go in, you go in absolutely cold with brand new suggestions you've never seen before. And I thought I would just try to make a 1-hour special out of one of those.
Well, you certainly did. And in fact, we have the trailer for it. So let's show the kids.
You know what we really need to know right now? The most important thing, I'll tell you. We need to redefine what America is. I'm grateful for circumcision. Because my dream was always to be in the circus.
Painted yourself into a corner there a little bit.
I walked myself into a much deeper ditch.
Right.
I like doing that with Set List.
I think a lot of us have had a reawakening, a renaissance, a rebirth of a new energy in us to start getting things done. Finally fixing some things. And the first thing we gotta fix is the strength of marijuana here in California.
Man, I've already seen that twice, and I thoroughly enjoy the process that you go through. I noticed your tells too, like whenever you're segueing, and then you see the screen and you see what it is. The hand goes down on the table. I noticed that every time.
I'm thinking my ass off. Go,
the wheels
baby, go.
spinning, baby.
Oh shit! I fell backwards into the hole with this one.
I think I've done stand up before. Like I said, not on a professional level, but I did some in New Orleans and out in LA, and I never felt quite comfortable with coming up with bits and remembering them and regurgitating them on stage. It wasn't for me. It just, I enjoy others who are very good at their craft doing it, and I appreciate it, and I try to learn as much as I can. But but for me personally, I think I'm more suited to the host level. Somebody who introduces the comics, and whatnot. Because
everybody's got to know your gig in the show there, and that's it. That's good.
We all got to roll in the struggle, So, but I always felt comfortable playing off of somebody else. You know what I mean? And I always and so anybody that does, like in the before the feds cut us off, we saw you in doing Curb Your Enthusiasm, right? Now there's no scripts in that. It's just kind of like a skeleton concept, right?
You got to get to A to B to C to D by a certain amount of time, or your scene won't make it.
Right.
Or your part scene can't make it, because you got to think in terms of, this is the length of the episode, and you read the thing that has to be done. This has to be this long. And so sometimes it's just about being real, supportive and real. Most of the time, I wasn't doing really a shtick. I was just telling Larry, what are you, I'm supposed to be this guy that's very much into baptism, and he ruined the wedding, and I spent a fortune on this. You just think he can barge in and whatever. So that was it. Sometimes the improv is just say things that belong, like that sort of thing in that sort of place. And your job isn't to go any further than that. Other places it will be, but it doesn't have to be, you do the same and everything,
So for that, like, because there's not like a set script, how many times did you guys do that scene? Like, and I know that like you do it multiple times, right? And then you cut the bits out of the ones, and then they put those together. How's that work?
Yeah, sure. There's the master, and then there's the pickups, and then the ISOs and things like that. And it depends on how much time there is.
But it's a little different when they're.
We had to do Lake Castaic, and there was supposed to be a running river, so everybody was carried down the river, but it was because of a motorboat going pushing the water because Lake Castaic is just flat and just sitting there. It's not doing anything. And
nice.
So they had to get the boat, and we had to wait for that. And then we, realizing when you get there, we got to do these other things. And so you get in what you can. It does, your moment is you're there, and you said the part that helps move this part of the story along.
Right on. I love Curb. I think I like. Yeah. Well, you're the Drake.
He just had a little bit of. Yeah, I was supposed to give some information. The information is we along with Elizabeth Dennehy, that this is not going to work, and you brought the TV for nothing, and now you got to figure out how to get it back somehow. And but you give that information in the way that is in your character.
Man, so you got to do some improvising on Seinfeld as well, right?
The crying was my idea for Drake.
Right.
I came up with that, but you got to let them know in advance so they know how they're gonna. Because it should be that's what could make their skin crawl more than having some dude just fall apart psychologically in front of them. Like they don't like emotions. So I thought I'd give them some.
When you when you go out for parts or whatever, or when people contact you, they want you to be in something. I mean, how much of it is it because of your improv skills that you bring that skill set to the table? And
certainly it always helps. I'm telling you, they don't always come right out and say it's because of the improv we're doing this, but when they start letting you do it, it's like they must have heard. And you get a reputation out. I do have that eventual reputation with certain settings that they know I can play around.
Well, when you
so that's maybe that's the extent of what you get with your career is you get to some places, and there's places where it doesn't belong. You got to know where it does and doesn't. Sometimes it's written so perfectly, so beautifully, you don't change this part. Just do it well. That's your improv. It's an improv with your own ego.
So just kind of like it's a feel thing. Like if it's like a serious project, you're probably not going to do as much, if any, improv. But comedy, that kind of lends itself to it, right?
There's and sometimes in serious, if it's Cassavetes, and there's a place for it there too. They know you can play that part out as well. But it seems like it's way more latitude in comedy.